my life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and... worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry. The sedative will wear off easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report.
What did they do to me?
Let's get our bearings.
Being leashed by the Order once was quite enough.
This again.
Well, that explains the smell anyway.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully. Her rectangular...
Fasten tight.
Did you expect a needle? Did you expect a needle?
Who are you? Nobody?
I need to get clever with this lock.
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
My, these smelling salts are strong stuff.
Empty.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back in.
My, look at the concentration on your... There you have it. See? The collar's function. It neuters for your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
Quite the mess they made.
No trauma. It was bled by magic.
There you are. Not in the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Don't you dare! If you...
Index fingers pressed to her lips.
My word. You do see... Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your... A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as... Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try cast...
Currents of magic...
My, look at the constant... There you have it. See? For your own peace of mind, of course. You've been collared, and you've been told why. There really is no need for you to linger.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with others.
The good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there.
Index fingers pressed to her lips.
My word. You do... Oh, well, I'm sure you'll... A new life awaits.
Behind the Magister, a blooded mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make...
There's been a murder. The sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. Hands to yourself.
We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless...
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could... It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the Listen, I could use someone to bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just... It seems as though there's a pattern in the blood flow. That can't be natural.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plain African waters.
I wasn't doing anything! Do you know Losa?
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Majesty
Name?
more concerned than
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to catch a killer here.
I know it.
I'm trying to concentrate.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily...
Snake Eyes.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad?
Here to register, sir. Good, good. You faring okay so far?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Will you?
Game for
Quiet
one,
long enough
I'm
for me to
afraid.
listen.
Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
How dare like I said, you aren't on the list.
Don't worry, honey.
I've seen more
She looks you up and down with the merest...
Never say never, though.
The lizard looks you up and down. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
I'm trying to concentrate.
I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. A dark, dank place. I remember it well. Ha! My, aren't you a pretty cup full of sugar and spice?
Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Of course it is. The truth's right there. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret... I don't lick and tell.
Ah, music to... On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Strongly suspect you know all about it.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer.
Yes, I can tell from your On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. Just as I thought. So, 3 questions asked, 3... As per your own testimony, you can cook, but you have the fashion sense of a monkey in a cloud. That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry. And?
Back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
The fellow cocks his ear.
That isn't anger.
He cocks his ear to the other side.
Anticipation. She sent... That's all you hear, though. Listen close.
There now, just like the
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news.
How dare you classify this
wheel,
slop as
don't you
food?
see, you beautiful
I've seen
idiot?
more appetizing
Squeaks
things
whenever
coming
the
out.
helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east.
Can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was...
Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
There has been a
Don't worry, honey.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a...
Never say never, though.
Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close.
The dwarf leans back from the table.
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, kiddo.
She eyes you quite...
Not the future, no. But I can read the past. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
You one of them?
She chuckles once more.
That red-cheeked refusal tells me more than licking you would. But, suit yourself.
Name? I know it. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I don't like comedy.
If you keep carrying on.
The Divine Order wants to know. Well, you aren't here on my list.
And we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable.
The elf is reading a volume of He reaches out and takes...
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to...
I have already examined it and... Oh dear. I see. You have my apologies. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. I do not believe I've been drawn... It is simultaneously too detailed. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Most unusual. And if it's not too rude to... No. I want to know about the Celestial. This text tells me that... Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't. Now please, run along. I have a world.
No amount of pestering will...
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
The good ship.
Index.
My word. Oh, well, a new life awaits. And what?
Currents of magic surf.
My, look at the concentration. There you have for your own peace. There you are. In the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. No. You're...
Index finger.
My word. Oh, well, a new life. Why, for my peace of mind, of...
Currents of...
My, there you have for your own...
She looks...
I was on... You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Not with that collar on you. Listen, bring me a good lead. Thanks.
You surprised?
The hatch
You're
is
one of
blocked.
them.
I'll need to
Small
find
ones
another
this
way.
time. We'll find out who did it.
A young magic.
Ugly sight. Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
It was one of them. I know it.
Well, the lizard, all of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting.
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. Goodness gracious me, what a bore. Off with you.
One of us can kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on... Finn was killed by Source. It looks more like... Listen, bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder.
The Magister's eyes darken. His face...
I always knew you'd end up
more
there
concerned than your...
lower even than us nobodies in the rank and
Don't
file.
you get saucy with
And
me
for
when you
joy,
clearly don't know the
you're
first
about to
thing
fall
about...
further than you thought possible. Happy landings.
Deciding fates. Don't worry.
She looks you up and...
Never say never, though.
She eyes you quite serious.
Not the future, no. I could lick your arm until...
She gives you...
My, aren't you a pretty... Of course, but don't you... I don't...
They don't care about
The elf is reading of... He reaches up. He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your...
Oh no. Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some... You have my apologies. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once.
Sick as a leper's cat. From this... But there's more.
How dare you
Listen.
classify this slop
There
as
now.
food?
Squeak!
I've
His
seen more
eyes-
appetizing
You
things
heard
coming
it,
out
didn't
of
you? I
plague.
knew it. I knew it. It's the... Burn my beard. That means capped.
The dwarf...
That'll be all, thank you, kind.
He continues...
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend
one
to
of
do
them?
away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder.
you.
Your Majesty.
Hey!
That is the Magister's more
Wow!
concerned.
You look cool.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I know it.
The elf is reading a volume. He reaches out. He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page.
I have already examined it and... Oh, you have my... Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. I do not... It is simple. Tell me, what do you know of your... our world's history? Most unusual. No, this tech. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Now, please, run along.
No amount of...
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did.
She turns her head.
And there are others whose lives must...
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, then.
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts sauce, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
No time for chatter. We've got to get out of here.
What happened? Must have been the turnips.
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness. You shake the lizard by the shoulders. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. You hear a faint thud, thud.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in your...
The dice roll darkly.
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and...